One of the things I've been doing is thinking about if I do these studies of engineering practice and working with my students, we get these really interesting insights about practicing engineers and designers. But how do I get this to the classroom? How do I help think about how we're better preparing students to go off into these cross-disciplinary design environments? So I can rephrase my question based on this, is how might we learn from engineering practice to design an engineering education that prepares students for the collaborative design environment they will experience after graduation? So what I have come up with and been working on and iterating on over the last several years with students as well as Olin faculty is this idea of moving from insights to what we're calling educational design elements. And this is actively being discussed, actually, at a meeting this Wednesday. So what's very cool about this idea is instead of saying, okay, I learned something from industry, I'm going to turn it into a handout and hand it to you to use in your classroom. Well, that's actually kind of going against the insight entirely that you're going to take this artifact and use it as is. So what this is saying instead is, why not come up with these particular design elements, almost like principles that are important to the design, but that can be context agnostic. So you can choose to take one of them and use it in your course, but it doesn't matter what your course is because you can apply it there. So let me give you an example from this project. So one is this idea of just try it. So fully committing to engaging with a new tool or approach before giving up or modifying it. So what I mean by this is in a class, if I'm going to present something to my students and I really want them to try it, I might frame the discussion around, okay, you're going to try this tool. Humor me. Just try it for today and tomorrow, and then we'll talk about how it goes. Don't change it, just try it as is, and let's work on it. And so that's something I can do in a quantitative engineering analysis course, in a human-centered design course. I can get them to try to fully commit for at least a little while. And a second design element that comes from this insight in particular is this idea of the freedom to bend it or break it. So it's not just about that initial commitment to something before modifying it, but it's that once you've tried it, you've really tried it, taking some ownership over it and feeling like you can bend that approach, change that handout, move that framework around, and modify it for whatever application you're working on, adapt it. So with these two design elements now, it doesn't matter what course I'm teaching, I can think about how to bring these into my classroom.